Hey everybody, it's Aaron with Skid Steer Solutions. Here today to show you the setup of your MT48 Trencher by Eterra. Let's get into it. So first things first, use a regular Phillips screwdriver. Take off all of the bolts to remove the top. So now that we got the top off the box, we can take it out of the box and start our assembly. So now that we have the trencher out of its box, it's a great time to go over your owner's manual. Inside of the owner's manual, it will show you all of the parts. It does require some slide assembly. The parts include your skid steer mount, your gold bars or slide bars, your Crumber Bar, and also your hydraulic hoses and hydraulic couplers. Since it does require slide assembly, let's get into that and I'll show you how to put it together. The first step of the assembly is to remove the slider bars from the box. You'll have two slider bars. One is going to be for the top, one is going to be for the bottom. And it'll also have this hose spring, which we'll save that for later. So now that we have the first bar installed onto the trencher, there is a washer that goes between the slide bar and the trencher plate. So you want to make sure that you get that installed right. I also installed this top plate to be loose fitting. The reason for that is when we get the mount for the skid steer, it's going to rest on top of this slide bar. We'll show you that in the next clip. So the second step of assembly would be to mount your skid steer mount to the trencher. For this step, I would highly recommend to have a second set of hands. This is going to be my assistant Haley. So let's get it mounted. So as I said before, we left the gold bar loose, and that is so that you can slip the lip of the plate onto the trencher. So now that we have the skid steer mount hanging onto the trencher, we can install the second or the lower bar. You will notice on the bar that one side is longer than the other. On the lower bar, you'll want the longer side to face down, and on the upper bar, you'll want the longer side to face up. Now that we do have both of the bars installed and torqued down, the size of that wrench was a 15/16 to be able to reach into the back and tighten all of those no problem. Now that we have the skid steer mounts attached to the trencher, we can move on to the front with the Crumber Bar. There's one pin and one bolt. So before we put that onto its bar, we'll remove the bolt, set that aside. Remove the pin. And reverse those steps. There it is. The next step of the installation is going to be the hose spring. So the location for the hose spring is going to be on top of the skid steer mount. You do have some washers. So you want to have the large washer on the top. On the bottom side, you'll want to have the large washer on top and the small washer on the bottom, followed by the nut. Go ahead and torque that down and we'll move on to the next step. So for your final step of assembly will be for your hydraulic hoses and your hydraulic couplers. To do that, you'll remove the two plugs from the motor, attach your hoses to the motor, route them through the hose spring, and up to your machine. Thank you for watching our assembly video of the MT48 Trencher by Eterra. If you have any additional questions, give us a call or visit us online at skidsteersolutions.com. Thank you and have a great day.